been for 16 days since I've seen any of you guys or been in the office. Briefly came in on Friday just to kind of dig out and stuff like that. But so I was surprised how much I missed you guys. I was like in Italy. And, no, seriously.
You don't have to lie to us, it's all right.
I was really excited to get back because if you guys remember, Italy for me came right after what? Mega Camp. Absolutely. And I went to Mega Camp and I got just, in fact, I just got dug out of all the stuff that I had for you guys from Mega Camp and I'm putting it in order, as I'm sure you guys have already done, right? And for me, that was just, every time I go, I get my hair blown back, and just like everybody else, I come back and my biggest challenge is what?
Implementation.
Implementation of what? Of whatever.
The goal.
Yeah, there's so much to choose from, and you want to do it all. And so what you get is you get like analysis paralysis. You want to do it all, so and you look at all of it, and then you do how much of it? None of it, right? And you come back with a big giant thing from Mega Camp, you're like, this is what we're going to do. And then it goes in a drawer, and then a couple months go by, and you clean out the drawer, and it goes in a file somewhere, and then next year you go to Mega Camp again, and you come back with more stuff, So in fact, I kind of wanted some of the people. I kind of wanted some. It's funny that like only 4 of you guys were on time. The room is full, but there's only how many cards in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only like 8 cards in there. Odds of winning are pretty good to win that $1,000 today.
Oh wait, that's not what it is, sorry.
We have 2 on-time drawing prizes today. Some KW note cards, black and white. Cool, huh? Nice. So let's have somebody draw. Who's going to draw? Let's go back here and have Heather draw. You draw the first one. I'll get some of the newer people to draw this time.
Timothy Fawcett.
Timothy Fawcett, black and white. Can you catch? Here you come. Incoming. All right, and then how about? Yeah, but she didn't draw. Let's have Elizabeth draw. Hand this back there. Elizabeth, come on in. I'm going to announce all the people.
You're really good.
Your eyes closed. Oh, you looked.
Kelly.
Kelly Dale Lyles.
Hey,
Do you want white or white?
that'll work.
Okay.
Watch your head.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Excited to get going here. Leave your phones turned on because we're stuck at $100. And if your phones, and this is for the new people in the room too, if your phones, it's mostly for the new people because everybody, actually, why doesn't somebody besides me explain it? What happens if your phone rings or makes any noise in the meeting?
Up, $25.
$25. What happens if you answer it in the meeting?
$100.
Okay, great. And you should run from the room,
Can't
yeah?
even do a vibrate.
You can't even make any noise on the table.
No vibrate?
Oh, really?
No vibrating, no buzzing, nothing like that. So now that everybody, and if you have a laptop like Tim, like Tim does, right? What?
And it goes bling.
What if it goes bling? Same thing, right? Yeah, exactly. You got to turn the sounds off and all that stuff. Have some announcements. The Halloween, we're going to have a Halloween costume party at the East Office on October 31st from noon to 3. It's really fun. They did this last year right before I got here. I missed it, kind of bummer. When I saw the pictures, and some of you guys were here for that last year. So it's going to be a blast in the East Office. Everybody's welcome to come, bring family, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be, we're all going to dress up. And we haven't talked about it yet, but we'll probably do some. I would imagine that the culture committee or somebody will put together some kind of a costume contest thing. Should be fun. Family Reunion 2015 is February in Orlando, Florida. And for those of you who were at Mega Camp, who was at Mega Camp? Raise your hand. Who's in here? Right? Okay. So I'm going to have you guys talk really quick about Mega Camp again. I know we did this once already, but I just want to have you just kind of maybe recap a little bit about, especially now that you've had a chance to come back and sort of prioritize what you're going to do. But when you hear Trish talk about Mega Camp, think of Family Reunion as a bunch of mega camps going on all at the same time. A bunch of mini mega camps. Because the difference with Family Reunion and Mega Camp is this. At Mega Camp, you go and you're in one big giant room with 12,000 other Keller Williams agents from across the country. And on the stage in front of you, and they have screens up and down the room, so no matter where you're sitting, it's like you're right there. And they have on stage the people that are the top in the company at whatever it is that they're teaching you, right? Whether it's something for building a team, whether it's something for just getting leads, whether it's something for technology, internet leads, that kind of stuff. It runs the gamut. How to hire people, how to just be, and you take stuff away from that for whatever it is that you're doing in your business. Like Trish was saying 3 weeks ago when we were talking about it before, was that you don't have to be wanting to build a big team to access this stuff, because whatever level you want to grow to, you can learn from somebody that's already gotten there in a big way, right? And so it applies whether you're building a team or whether you don't want to do that. And family reunion is like having a bunch of that going on in a smaller setting. They do, so family reunion is, they do have some big general sessions, and then they have breakout sessions. Here's the way to maximize family reunion. Go to family reunion, get registered for it, get all that stuff handled, and then you get your schedule of breakout sessions. That'll be coming out in the next probably 14 days. And the schedule of breakout sessions, you'll need to go in there ahead of time and decide what you're going to go to when. Some of them repeat more often than other ones do. Some of them don't repeat at all. And you get to pick from a smorgasbord of everything you could possibly want to implement or do in your business. And then go there and be taught in a smaller setting where you can actually have single one-on-one interaction with the instructors that are teaching you in these breakout sessions. And they're, like, once again, they're the top people in the business. Do you mind talking really quick about, just kind of recap Mega Camp for some of the people who weren't here last
Sure.
time?
What I'd love to say about Mega Camp for us is that it helped us refocus our goals on what we're going to do. And so, starting this morning, we're in our 4th quarter of production, and so what we're implementing the most out of anything is we're all in. We're all in for the rest of the year. And so we had a goal that we set for this year, and there's a gap of where we are supposed to be and where we're going, where we want to be. So we are like all in, like nothing is going to stop us. We're going to do it every day, and we're hitting it so hard that we're going to say, if we hit it, there's this massive reward that our team gets, okay? Massive. Happens to be in Orlando, Florida.
Ooh, nice.
So
It's going to take your whole team to
there's a massive reward for them. Not that they get to go to that, but that they get to do something else that's fun in Orlando, Florida. Okay, but we are just like going to implement it. We're going to make the calls. We're going to do the things. We're going to apply the things that we learned, so that even if we don't hit it, we're probably going to be so much closer to our goal than we ever would have been if we didn't do it.
And the financial reward.
Yeah, the financial reward is win. No matter what we do, we
It's
win.
no-brainer.
Okay.
No-brainer.
Yeah. So we are applying those things, and then on our Thursdays mastermind sessions, we're reviewing the great things that we learned from there, some of the huge tips, and then we're implementing those. But our team, I mean, meaning the Thursday morning meeting, everybody already agreed they're going to family reunion.
Good.
Everybody who's attending our Thursdays, we're going, and so
Good.
they're going to do the layaway thing where each deal they close, are going to put so much away in order to do that. So
Yep.
because we decided that of the people who are in this room here and in our mastermind session, that's the most effective way that they can increase business is to attend family reunion first.
Yeah.
Because it will have much more specific things that will help them in their business.
I totally agree with that. That's awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, Trish. So yeah, definitely go to the Thursday mastermind. But the layaway plan she's talking about is this. We're going to implement this as a staff, and you'll see that come out in the next week or so. If it hasn't already, I don't think it came out while I was gone, but we've already talked about it. And that is this. You can choose on your green sheet to have, and we'll have a form come out that you can sign. I, Trish McCall, authorize Keller Williams Realty, Santa Rosa City Ducks, X, and another blank, and you put in the blank from each of my next closings up to X amount to be used for registration for family reunion, or registration and whatever for family reunion, Mega Camp, Bold, whatever it is that you're going to do. So you can create a layaway account and choose how much you want out of each of your deals put in there, okay? So we'll have those forms ready for you guys soon, and then Dennis will track that, and the funds will be in there for you guys, so that you don't have to because it's going to come up quicker than you think. I mean, really, what you're doing it's October. So.
When is it, February?
February.
It's mid-October right now, and Mega Camp's in February. But think of it this way, think of it the way you think of your business. What you're doing right now to generate business, when's that going to pay off?
February.
Yeah, it's gonna be about your first quarter of 2015. What you're doing right now is for your first quarter of 2015, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, can you get some more instant business than that? Yeah, but in general, what you're doing right now, your lead generation activities and everything that you're doing to generate business is gonna pay off at the beginning of 2015. So thank you very much for talking about that. Think about the layaway plan. You'll see it come out again. We'll do a big announcement. It's coming out this week, okay?
And the other thing is, you deserve to go.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
deserve to go, to see what the big picture of Keller Williams really looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you deserve to see, is what it's really all about, what this company is really all about.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that if you go and you do even a remotely weak attempt at trying to get some contact information from other Keller Williams agents who are not here, because you guys are in a destination location. You guys are in a tourist destination location. It's like you guys live in Tahoe. It's like you guys live in
Sonoma County.
Sonoma County, right? Exactly. Oh, wait, you do, right? So, do you think that more referrals come into an area like this than, say, Yuba City?
Yep.
Yes, they absolutely do. So even if you just make a half-hearted attempt while you're there to get a few business cards and hand out a few business cards, you'll get referral business from it that'll more than pay for your trip to go. So even if you just stayed in the hotel room and didn't go to any of the family reunion, I mean, as long as you met somebody. So what I'm getting at is the referral relationship opportunity is awesome. So I'm not trying to oversell this. There's no way to oversell it. If you haven't been there, you might feel like you're being oversold in it. If you go, you'll never feel that way again. Income boost at 1:30 today, and every Monday at 1:30. Don't miss that. For all of you that are newer in the company, that's a required class to be at. You must be at Eileen's Income Boost class, and it's huge anyway. So everything that you need to do to get your business going or relaunched, there's people who are attending it who have been in business for a long time that are doing it as well, and it's a phenomenal class. Definitely be there for that. Yeah,
And the
Joe.
first half hour, she's going over the new contract.
New RPA, definitely want to be there for that. So that's at 1:30 here, after the meeting. East Office Baby Shop. So there's been lots of KW babies born. And they're doing it in the East Office at 4:30 this Thursday. Contributions are welcome because we're putting together a group thing where we're getting gift cards for the families of the new babies, okay? And, you know, we can tell you, like, for me,
You don't want to mention it, because he's.
yeah, I don't know, this guy,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
yeah, right. Tim McCall, there's another one, there's
Mark Altez.
Mark Altis, right, so there's three. So we're doing this all at once, it's gonna be fun, kind of a party thing. So don't miss that, everybody's welcome to that. Business Planning Clinic. This is an all-day, so why would we have a business planning clinic in October?
Plan for January.
Yeah, now's the time to decide what you're gonna do. And why is it important to have a business plan?
Know what you're doing.
Well, you talked about it a minute ago.
Roadmap.
Roadmap, to know what you're doing, to know what to do when. Because if you don't really have a roadmap and a plan, what you end up doing, because there's so many shiny lures in our business, is what happens. Oh, I'm gonna do this, because this guy said to do this, so I'm gonna do, oh wait, she said this works really good, I'm gonna do this week. And then this other week, you know what, I think I'm gonna go spend $8,000 and buy this thing, because that's gonna give me a lot of this, right? And then you do all of that, and you just kind of get some business and not get some business. It's not the same as if you have a plan and you're actually executing a plan. So the other piece of the business plan that she mentioned is goals. And if you start with the end in mind and work backwards, goals have what we call future goal. You guys know what that is? You kind of talked about it. You, Tim, when you were you just said, well, financially it's a no-brainer, right? Who cares if we don't hit the goal? I mean, you have to care about hitting the goal, but if you work real hard towards the goal and you do everything you can to hit it and you miss it, let me ask you this question. If you had a goal to do 50 transactions this year, and 3 months into the year, you're like, maybe you're not on track to hit that goal, so you're just like, you know what, I think 30's fine. And you move the bar. That's one thing. But if you have a goal to hit 50 and you work towards that goal to hit 50, and raise your hand in here if you think 50 is a lot of transactions. It's a lot of transactions. It is. Even if you're doing more than 50 right now, recognize it's a lot of transactions because not very many people out here do more than, actually, the average real estate agent in the United States does 1.7 transactions a year. Let me say that again. The average real estate agent in the United States does 1.7 transactions a year. Okay? So all that really means for you guys is that the competition's weak, right? There's a lot of people in the business with licenses that aren't really in the business, right? And I don't really know how to look at those numbers in a way that takes those people out of it, right? Other than you just kick people out of the numbers who do invest in 6 or 7 deals a year, and then you can kind of get a more accurate picture. But if you have a goal to do 50 transactions, or a goal to do 250,000 GCI, and you work really, really hard towards that goal, and you only do 48 transactions, isn't that still more transactions than you would have done if your goal was to do 48? Probably is. That's what future pull, having a big, we call it a BHAG, right? A big, hairy, audacious goal. A goal that when you say it, you're kind of embarrassed. I sit down with brand new agents who aren't from our industry, and one of the big questions that we ask them, and Heather, I just asked you this, and I asked you this too, Elizabeth, and what did I say to you when I asked you, how much money you want to make this year? And they sit there and they think, and here's what they're thinking about. Well, I don't want to say something that's too low, but I also don't want to sound stupid to this guy, and I don't really know what's realistic. But that isn't the question that I ask, right? I don't want to know how much money you think you can make in real estate this year. I want to know how much money do you want to make this year? And that's if you start with a nice big fat goal, you'll get way further down the road than if you're like trying to be realistic. Believe in the goal and believe in yourself, and know. Because know this, the average sale price is what? In Sonoma County right now? Huh? Okay, it's higher than that now, but let's say 419. Our average sale price in this office is 529, isn't it, Dennis?
Somewhere around 5.
Yeah, that means that you guys are above average, which we already knew, right? But your average sale price in our 3 offices is higher than the average sale price in Sonoma County. But let's just use 400. So what's 2.7% of 400? It's like 12 grand, right? So every deal you do, it's a little less than 12 grand, but 2.7% is the average commission per side, right? Not quite 3, not quite 2.5. It doesn't take very many deals to make good money in real estate out here. It's just about, and by the way, the more expensive the deal is, how much work is involved in selling a $300,000 house versus selling a $1.2 million house? Which one's harder?
Pretty close.
The one for 300.
I agree.
Really difficult.
It's been my experience that the more expensive the home, the easier it is to do the job. Now, that doesn't mean that you can be lackadaisical and not perform. What I mean is that, why do you think that is?
There's a consciousness that goes along with that.
What do you mean?
Well, people who are in that higher have bought and sold property, and they have a larger concept of money and
Yes.
and the transaction. So they're more educated, and so they're easier to communicate with, and they have a consciousness about what.
I think that has a lot to
value
do with
is.
it. I think that has a lot to do with it. And the other piece of it that ties in with what you just said also is that somebody who owns a $2 million house in Sonoma County, do they do their lawn? Do they mow their own lawn?
Right.
Probably not.
No.
Do they wash their car in the driveway?
No.
Probably not. Do they iron shirts on the weekends and get their laundry ready? No, they probably use a cleaner. In fact, they probably have it delivered and picked up, right? Maybe they don't, but most people do. And so what I'm getting at, and when they get in and have like a legal issue, do they handle it themselves or do they what? Hire an attorney. When they get sick, where do they go? The doctor. They hire. So they're used to hiring professionals, more so than somebody who is living more paycheck to paycheck and doesn't really have the money to do that kind of stuff, and is thinking of dollars and cents, not in terms of time, or time not in terms of dollars and cents. People with higher end properties and people who make more money and have more personal wealth tend to think of time in terms of the dollars and cents that it costs to buy that time from somebody else, right? And so that I think has a lot to do with what Joe was saying. I think you're absolutely right about that. It's been my experience anyway. And yes, are there aberrations? Absolutely. Can you? Yes. But I'm talking about averages across the board. So the business planning clinic, starting with a goal, a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, and then imagine taking your goal and breaking it down based on what we know, which is, we know average sale prices, we know average commission per side, and we know, and then from that, and we know conversion rates, and if you're new in the business, we can use average conversion rates, right? So in other words, how many listings do you need to take to have one close, which is gonna be pretty high right now, right? How many buyer listings or buyer broker agreements do you need to get signed to have a buyer actually close escrow? And in order to take a listing, how many listing leads do you need? In order to get a buyer broker agreement signed, how many buyer leads do you need? So once we know all these numbers, we can back out of your goal and go, hey, you know what? To do exactly what you said you wanted to do, you need 3 leads a day, 6 days a week. Can you get 3 leads a day?
Yes,
Yeah, probably,
probably.
right? But when we don't know that and we don't start with, because that's a plan, right? When we don't start with a plan, what happens? What's that?
Get stagnant.
You kind of get stagnant, right? And then instead of needing, and then when you finally do get on track with your goal, instead of needing 3 leads a day, to catch up, you might need 300 leads, because you haven't done it for 2 months, right? So 300 seems like a big number. It's like when I was in school, I never did my homework, until it was like, dude. So then I had to sit down and I had a stack of stuff to do, right? My kids did the same thing. Well, we're all the same, right? So having a plan, having a daily plan to execute, that's why this business planning clinic is such a big deal. Definitely go to that, totally worth it. New agents in the last 30 days. Super excited to announce this. Julie Lackritz, Diane Muir, Maurice, it says Attino, the Z didn't come out there. Maurice Attino, Chris Wolf, Elizabeth Faust, Hugh Hines, who is Ed Hines' son, and somebody named Tina did. Tina just got her license. We're excited about that. All right, so welcome everybody to the company. And when you guys see them, successes. Who has a success from last week to this week that they would like to share with the group? Okay, I'll start. I got engaged in Venice.
Congratulations, Tina.
Thank you guys very much. So I just embarrassed her to death. And if she had known I was going to do that, she wouldn't be here right now. Seriously, who has a success from last week to this week? You guys made me start. I want to hear somebody's. Who had something good happen to them in their business or in their life? Yes?
I moved so that I don't have to drive an hour.
Isn't that great? Don't you have like 5 minutes from the East Office now?
5 minutes.
Oh, very good. Isn't moving fun?
Oh, it's horrible, but I'm so glad.
I think real estate agents should be required to move every 2 years, just to keep in touch with their clients and everything, because moving sucks. Isn't it? Yeah, crazy, huh? All right, well, welcome back to the area.
Yeah, I'm
That's
so
awesome.
glad. I
Yeah,
actually
we're
really
glad to have you
feel
here too as well, Evan.
Timothy Fawcett has one.
Timothy, let's hear it.
Yeah, you told me.
Come on, man. Why are you keeping it to yourself?
Yeah.
Somebody thinks it's bigger than I do.
I think it's huge.
I was in open house on Saturday, and after being at the mastermind on Thursday, I shared the mobile app, which from the time it was introduced to now has made great leaps and bounds.
Oh, yeah.
And now to share it, you can share it strictly by sending it to a person's smartphone and getting them set up, and it takes all of about 3 to 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And it's a very powerful tool.
And so then what happens if you share your mobile app with me and I'm a potential client of yours, you meet me at a party or whatever, you're like, oh, here,
Or
check
an
this
open
out.
house, yeah.
Open house, whatever. You're like, hey, check this thing out, and I go driving around and I have your mobile app open. And I know this, when you're driving around, it's like telling me, like, oh, this one's available. It shows you stuff as you're going down the street. Hey, this house is available. And I'm like, hey, and I click on it because I want more information. What happens next?
Well, you have the option to either call the agent directly, or you have them saying, hey, I want more information.
Right, and who would that agent be? Even if I don't remember your name or anything, because I just left.
Well, they
it
can't,
alone.
you gotta, they have to remember your name because it's all branded to you.
Well, they'll see it in the app, but what I'm saying is I leave your open house, I don't really care about you, let's say, I'm leaving the open house, but I'm using your app, right? It's gonna take me right back to you, it can't take me anywhere else.
Right.
It doesn't, it's not like it goes to our floor desk or anything like that. Do we have a floor desk here?
No.
Say no. No. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, it's good.
That's awesome, Timothy. Who else has a success?
It's my birthday today.
Hey! Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you.
Birthday, Joe.
So his name starts with an H, but it's Yo, not Yo. So I'm not saying yo like, yo, happy birthday. It's his name, right?
Cool.
All right, so, and that's Ed Hines' son, in case you guys don't. You can kind of see the resemblance.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. I see it.
Jeanette McBall, you had your hand up for as a success.
Yes, I don't want to be the only one that has a success, so I kind of wait till people have theirs. I had a very successful door knocking experience on Sunday. Okay, I'll try to make this as brief as I can, but it was very exciting. I decided to go door knocking to Bodega Harbor. Okay?
Where?
Bodega Harbor.
Okay.
Okay, beautiful day yesterday. You know, decided, normally Sunday's my day off. I thought, day off, I'll go to the beach. Day off, I'll go to the beach with a person who's been missing their payments, okay? So I went to the door, and a very lovely, beautiful woman answers the door and very receptive to my visit. And she's not the owner, but she promised me that she would give me, you know, give the owner the card when she gives her check. And she said, you know, I have a really, you know, she admired my door knock. She says, I have a really good idea for you for listing leads. Okay, she gave it to me. I was so excited about it. I went back to the office, started in on it, sent out 40 emails, and so far to count on my email, and I just made a quick check, it looks like about 20 of them got back to me.
Wow.
And I got one phone call this morning that when it actually called me, because my phone number was also in the email, asking me to give me the value of their home.
Nice.
Nice.
Huge response rate, 50% response rate, that's
Wow.
huge.
I know, I don't know if they're all yeses, I mean, that is the question, are you interested in selling your home? I haven't read each one of them,
Right,
but, you know, they couldn't all be no.
yeah. No, it's awesome. They're not all gonna be no.
Yeah, but anyway, that was my door knocking experience.
Way to go,
on Sunday.
congratulations, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and a beautiful lunch where I sat and watched the ocean with my Triscuits and brie.
And I've heard from, I've heard from Kaylee, Tina's daughter, who works out there at Second Wind Kite Store in Bodega, that the weather out there is like, I mean, it's like summertime on a
It
beach
is.
in LA or something.
It is.
It's just
Like the
gorgeous.
wind,
Fall and
hot.
spring are the best times of the ocean.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, crazy. Well, I'm learning, because I wasn't, this is my first October out here, so, very cool. Congratulations on that. Who else has a success that they want to share? I know there's more successes in here than that. You guys are killing me. All right, we'll move on.
Oh,
Yes?
I just completed the Buffini Peak Producers
Yeah.
3-month coaching program. It was pretty cool.
Very cool. So
That's
you,
a success. We're gonna have, it's a synergy group. We're gonna be meeting 1 month, 1 week, one day a month from now on. And Steve Cohen in our
Mhm.
Petaluma office facilitated it. And roaming, Karen,
I know there's a good
Terry
turnout.
Pants, Diana, and Jim Walsh, who a lot of us know in Marin, were all in the group. It was
Good.
pretty good.
Awesome.
Actually, it was very good, not just pretty good, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Which is why my office is such a mess. I have all my freebies and
You know what I didn't know that I found out and I really, really like about that program is that not only is it about, you know, lead generation and follow-up and client touches and stuff like that, but it's about business. I mean, these guys track their numbers. They know, they do monthly P&Ls. They're supposed to.
Right.
But they have the stuff in there they want you to do, you know, they want you to run your business like a business, which is one of the things that we're really into here. Is like, well, let's treat it like business. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a pretty good program.
Yeah, it's a really good program. That's really good. Way to go, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So who has a listing coming that's not currently on the market that they want to share with the group?
I do.
Joel?
I have 10 acres in Occidental with 2 legal houses and a third that is fully fitted out as a studio with a bathroom and kitchen. The county has now designated it to be a workshop. It's a California-style craftsman house. The cottage is right next to the house. It's a 1-bedroom, second unit. And it's gonna go on the market for about $750, but we have to do a little bit of cleanup. But if anybody's looking for something like that, it's Occidental.
Awesome. Do you know approximately when?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I said wooded or clear?
The bottom space, the steep hillside, primarily wooded, 7 acres. Steep hillside, there is 2 wells. There's one at the bottom. As some of you may know, Occidental's a scarce water area. You gotta be aware of that. So there's 2 wells. The bottom, where the houses are, the road level is cleared. Big parking area, garden area. A driveway or a road, if you would, up to a clearing in the top, and it has a, what would be called the West County Garden.
Got it.
There, with a well. But it would be a good, living site up there, too. So, if anybody has anybody that might want that.
Awesome. Very cool. For those of you who are new to the company, you'll see a lot of people writing when somebody's talking about a property like this, and it's because it's not currently on the market, so no one but us knows about it. And the reason you might want to write it down, even if you don't right now have someone for it, is what?
You might have someone for it.
Might, or even if you don't have somebody, who remembers the script?
No.
I have listing information that is not currently on the market, and you may have an interest, you may not have an interest, but you may know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is my script
Yeah, I love
for
that.
Paul,
Yeah, that's great.
my sphere or whoever,
Mhm.
you know, and I count all the things that I know,
Mm-hmm.
and I create that interest. And what's happening is that they get the bug in their head, and then they call back later, well, you know, I might. That conversation then opens up.
Right, that's excellent. The other piece of that script is, let's say you're at an open house or something, right? And you're talking to them, and then you're going to mostly look in the area, blah, blah, blah. You say, you know what, right now, the open house is kind of busy, but, you know, I've got 3 or 4 properties right now that are not currently on the market, some of which I might be able to get you into before the signs even go up. Is that something you might be interested in? They say, oh, yeah, maybe, you know, let's do this, since it's kind of, I know you're busy right now, and I have the open house to take care of. Let's meet for about 15 minutes at 4:30 today, after I'm done with the open house in my office, and I'll show you some of those and get real serious with you about your criteria, so I don't waste your time running you around to stuff that you might not be interested in. And then maybe we'll work out something where I can show you some property. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, they'll like make an appointment with you right there. They come in, sign your buyer broker agreement. So the reason to know about these properties certainly would be if you have somebody for them, or if you think you're gonna eventually have somebody for them, or if you want it to be the truth, because we don't ever lie. If you want it to be the truth when you say, you know, I know about 3 or 4 properties that aren't coming, that are not currently on the market, well, you gotta know, so you gotta write them down, right? That's Joanne, or Joe, that's awesome. And Joanne,
What was
thanks
the
for
time
sharing.
frame on that one?
That's a good question. Probably a month or 2, to be honest. If you would like to see it, I can arrange it before then. There's an illness involved there, so it's an extenuating circumstances.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have something coming? Okay, how about buyer needs? Who has a buyer that they're looking for something, for somebody for that they want to share? Great.
Got a family, we missed out on the Pancrafts property over in Bennett Valley, or around Spring Lake. We're looking for something up to $850, 3-bedroom, got anything around the park there. The guy's a avid climber, or, you know, mountain guy, and wife just started out with Tiger. Then we have another one looking for a single level in Bennett Valley, around 600,000, 3 to up in like 1,800 square feet would be nice. But single level is what they prefer, but they would look at something that's 2 level.
What was the price on that one?
Around 600. And then I have a lady that we're looking something quick for in Roanoke Park. A 3-2, I saw it in listing, but it's a little too high, just wanting something condo around 325, 350, and it'd be all cash. So if someone has something coming up, like we missed out on one that when I was in Mexico, it closed in 3 days, or took it off in 3 days, so I missed out on that one. So if anybody has anything, please let me know. 707-480-5577.
Say that again, phone number again?
480-5577.
Cool. Anybody else have a buyer need? Yes, Joe?
My client's looking, for a small house, or it could be a condo or PUD, single level, up to 500, 2 or 3 bedroom, in a Bennett Valley area. And, she can do a little bit of fixing, but, not too terribly much. And, but she's really motivated, all cash. And then once I get her in that, then I'll list her other properties.
Cool.
Up to 5?
5.
Into the 5s.
Hmm?
I have one coming, it'll be into the 5s.
Let me know.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else? Something coming? Yes, Timothy?
I've got a growing family, up to about 4:30. They prefer Windsor, but they know that's the challenge, so they're considering Santa Rosa, 3343, minimum 1,600 square feet.
Price?
Up to about 4:30. They're pre-approved with Redwood Credit Union, ready to rock and roll.
Okay. Awesome. John?
I have a couple relocating here from Vancouver. So they have a condo to sell up there, but they are looking in Windsor, 1,500 square feet minimum, and they want to stay under 750.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, so the calendar for this week. Income boost, the MLS meeting at the Veterans Hall tomorrow morning. Definitely want to be there for that. It's been great. I've been, of course, the last 2 weeks I haven't been there, but a lot of this now is going on at the MLS meeting, and there's more people, right? And so it's a great way to go in there and find out about 5 or 6 properties that are coming that are not currently on the market.
They're pitching, they're networking.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and plus, you need, and especially those of you who are new, get in there, meet the people. They gotta know your name. If they can put a face to a name, I mean, these relationships that you're gonna develop are gonna be some of the most important in your business, are with your colleagues, regardless of what company they're at. And when you have stack offers come in on a listing, and I can remember that, hey, I met that Heather girl at the board meeting the other day. It's just sometimes that, could be the thing that puts your offer over the top, or one of the things. You know what I mean? So you're gonna wanna meet and network with people. And also for finding properties that aren't currently on the market that are coming, blah, 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 right? It's a great place to go. Be there, I'll be there, we're gonna try to all sit together. We'll try, but it depends on when everybody gets there, right?
Oh, the Norbar is having the economic summit on Wednesday, for those of you that didn't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be
right, I
pretty-
didn't-
That's gonna
But
be
did everybody get
good.
the email on that from Norbar?
I'm going.
What time is it?
11:17 to 2:15.
11.
Okay, at the board?
No, I
Oh, the Flamingo.
At the Flamingo?
Okay, all
cool.
you can eat lunch.
I like that place. Oh, it's WCR, that's right, I did get the email on that. Very cool. Yes,
Can I get your property address?
absolutely, come in.
Okay, Shannon and I have a property coming up on Gravenstein Highway. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath as per realist, but it's actually got 3 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms does not have a closet. The acreage is about 1 1/4 acres. And it's on Gravenstein Highway and.
South or north?
South, right, 1794. It'll come on Friday is what we're shooting for. 675,000.
What's across the street?
Cross street is Bloomfield. Used to be that real funky old coffee shop, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That building, we're bringing that building, it's a split commercial and residential by one owner. And we're taking the commercial building down. The residential property's having a nice new fence put in, high fence to split it up visually.
Price was 6 what?
675, well, and septic, all inspections happening today. Nice house, clean, good shape, so.
You need your phone number?
707-290-6376.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so don't forget the Economic Summit at the Flamingo, WCR, you said 11?
11:15 to 2:15.
11:15 to 2:15 on
Call
Wednesday.
and let them know you're coming.
So the 15th. And we'll put it on the calendar here too, and I'll put it out, okay? The East Office Mastermind that Trish was talking about, be there 8 o'clock
It's awesome.
every Thursday. Don't miss it, just don't miss it. It's awesome. It's awesome. And being at 8 o'clock in the morning is a great way to get your day started. These people walk out of there fired up and they get going, right?
That's
right.
I mean, I do, right? I walk in there, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna call some agent.
There you go, I'm gonna go marry that girl.
There you go. Exactly. The ALC ALC meeting this Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Everyone is encouraged to attend. There's a lot of people that are newer in here, so I want to let you guys really quick recap of what the ALC is. It stands for Associate Leadership Council. And the only reason we can even have something like this is because of Keller Williams profit share. The fact that we're a profit sharing company means that we're open book, means that we have P&Ls that we show to the ALC and the agents every month, and that they get to see everything, the expense side, the income side, and all that. So the ALC is empowered to help us make decisions regarding the direction of this company. Some of you who have recently sat with me in recruiting appointments know that, like at every other brokerage, whoever the manager person is can just go, hey, you know, we're a little light the last couple of months on cash, so I'm thinking we're going to raise some fees. Not enough to make you leave, but just enough that when you multiply it by 130 agents, it'll be a lot for us, right? You're laughing, but they do that all the time. Can't do that here. Can't just arbitrarily do that. The ALC has a lot of say in that. And other than that, there's a lot of really important things that the ALC takes care of in here that affect everyone in this office. So definitely worth your time to come to the ALC meeting and see how the leaders, the agents in this office who are on the board of directors for us, which is the ALC, take care of business for you guys in this office. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing. And it's not done anywhere else. No, be here, in this room at 9:30 in the morning. And then the baby shower, Thursday at 4:30 in the East office. That is in the East office, baby shower. And Friday, there's nothing on the calendar. Okay, so the reason I felt like this was timely and topical is not just because there's new agents in here who are getting familiar with the MLS, but because there's agents in here that know the MLS backwards and forwards that don't know what I'm about to show you guys.
Okay.
So I learned this from somebody way smarter than me. And this is going to become very important in this market. It already has. Because I don't know if you guys can feel it. I'm sure you guys can feel it, but the market is doing what?
Shifting.
Like it always is, right? But the market is shifting right now. Trish, when you say the market's shifting, what's it doing?
We've gone from a seller's market to a balanced market.
Do you think it's all the way balanced right now?
It's pretty balanced.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling it with listings.
How dependent on price bands is that? Like, are there some price bands that are not balanced and others that are?
Anything that's priced correctly or slightly below the market is seeing offers. If you're not, then you're sitting.
Right, and it didn't used to be that way.
No.
You could price it significantly above the market. Right,
No longer.
8–10% above the market
Yeah.
and still get offers,
Mhm.
right? So what you can't do anymore as a seller, well, so here's the problem, right? Here's the price trend. We've shown this before. So here's the end of 2013 right here. This is what goes into 2014. And this increase was what? 21% in 2013 in Sonoma County. Ridiculous, by the way. You can't maintain that. But good, right? It's going, and what drove it up?
Interest rates
Low interest rates, cheap money, lots of buyers in the market,
and low inventory.
and low inventory. So not a lot to choose from. So hey, if you want this house, you know, you're gonna pay through the nose for it, pretty much. So it's going up. And so what you could do back here when you took a listing was you could go, geez, man, the properties in Skyhawk are going up at about 4% a month, or 3% a month. So I'm thinking, the comps say I should price this at 800,000, but I'm gonna price it at 800,000 plus 3%. Or maybe plus 5%, or maybe plus 8%, right? And you would still get offers. So you could price properties like this and still get offers. Well, now, the market has started to do what she said, it's flattening out. The rate of increase has dramatically slowed. It's kind of flat right now, actually. And depending on the price band, there are some price bands that are still increasing.
Don't you think it's gonna be correcting?
How do you mean?
Well, the drastic, and I'd love Tricia's feedback on this too, it seems to me like an extraordinary rise in prices.
Mhm.
And I think that it could be possible that it could correct itself and perhaps come down.
So what would cause that?
Increase in interest rates.
Okay, tighter money, more expensive money, what else? Why does that cause that?
Well, the Fed's gonna,
If I'm like barely hanging on by the skin of my teeth and my fingernails to qualify for a house at 500 grand, and my interest rate goes up
Costs you more to do the
3/4
same
points, can I still buy that house? No. So it takes buyers either out of the market or out of that price band, right? So that's one reason why.
Demand.
What's something else that can cause it?
Demand.
Reduced, okay, that reduces demand. Other factors can reduce demand as well,
Yeah,
right? What are those?
well,
What are some of those?
perception.
Sure, perception, uncertainty, financial uncertainty.
You just can't flat out qualify it like for Yankee.
Yeah, can't qualify, yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm seeing a lot at the open houses is they're, you know, in the mid to high 300,000 and not, you know, most of the houses are in the mid to high 400s, you know?
Yeah, and they can't buy it.
No.
They can't buy much,
Yeah.
but they're out looking at, you know, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Bennett Valley, and they can qualify for a condo somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So that's not, that in and of itself, that's not a bad thing when the market, but you mentioned a correction, so what a correction is actually, would require is a correction the market flattening out, or is a correction the market returning to a lower level?
Well, going
Give
low.
it back.
Depends.
Either one.
Right? So I don't know what you mean by correction, and I actually don't subscribe right now to any like near-term massive adjustment downward.
No.
I don't think that's coming,
But our
but
21% was a correction. I mean, we did a massive.
Well,
That was.
you can look at it like that, too.
A correction.
And you know,
Back to
We went from
Because we're
619
still-
down to 305.
yeah, there's still a lot of elasticity. You guys know what that is? So if you have an anchor level of price for a given home, right? And imagine the home attached to a rubber band, right? And it goes down below this anchor level of price, where you can't even build the house for what you could buy it for. In fact, you can't even build the house, you can't even build half the house for what you could buy it for. And so that rubber band, you can think of it as being stretched, right there, right? Because economic factors will cause it to return to some kind of a balance where because if you could build it, you know, if you can buy it that much cheaper, a lot of people are going to buy, right? So it increases demand. And then what happens? This happens. Then you can think of the rubber band as stretching this way, right? So that's elasticity in the market. So to get specific to your question, I mean, I look at the RSS feeds from Inman News and from the real estate blogs and people that I respect, and I don't see any of this. I call them the smart money. I don't see any of the smart money like betting on some massive drop in prices or even a drastic fall off in transaction numbers of units, which is a good thing for us because we get paid on what? Transfer of property, transactions, right? But other than a seasonal slowdown that we typically see, which is actually a reason to work harder in the off season. So what I was getting at though, Jeanette, is that now that it's flattened out, what you're going to see, those of you who are listing property, what does that mean for you?
Be conservative.
Okay, in pricing, and then once you have you're right. Once you have the listing, what does it mean for you?
Be aggressive about moving it.
Be aggressive about moving it,
Yeah.
market it hard, but also run towards your client with the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. I mean, because we're not always right on price, right? I mean, once in a while you get a listing that might be overpriced, or it might be priced right, but it still might not be selling, which means it's not priced right. You know what I mean? So,
But the great news, if it isn't selling, it is a little overpriced, it is incredible for open houses.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can still make money on it, and you can
So don't be
Get more
discouraged if
listing.
you can't convince them, you might not want to push too hard to begin with, because it might take a little learning curve for them to get there.
Yeah.
Because having those open houses has been a
Absolutely.
whole lot for us.
Oh, heck yeah, absolutely. Open houses, especially if you do them right. And we'll talk about that. So the reason I wanted to go over this is because all of you who are listing property are going to be starting to see, as a general rule, longer time on the market, right? You're not going to automatically go list a property necessarily, and just know that, hey, this weekend, I know we're going to get offers, and me and the seller are going to sit down at by 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and we're going to review all these offers. So you might be in for like a more normal listing, where you actually have to do what Trish said, which is work real hard to get it sold and, you know, market the property, which you're going to do anyway. But what's important about that? What needs to happen from a listing agent in a market where the buyer, or where the seller, I'm sorry, thinks, because the seller has information from back here, right? Thinks that their house is gonna sell in 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 days. And it takes a little longer than that.
Statistics.
Yeah, so you wanna set the expectations up front, showing them exactly what's going on in the market with the pendings and the actives and the solds, so not just the solds, right? But then you wanna be, during the term of the listing, running towards your client with the truth. Running towards your client with, hey, Richard, listen, I know we were talking about before, and I know we mentioned that we felt like this was the right price range to generate offers. I know that you understand, based on what we talked about, that the function of the asking price in a listing is part of the marketing. It determines whether or not anybody's gonna look at the house. Well, it's been about 3.5 weeks now on the market, and we've had 2 showings. And one of those people, one of those showings actually has gone and purchased another property in the area, and I sent you that property when you got it. And you're running towards the client with the information. How do you automate that in your business? Wouldn't it be neat if you could have that automatically happen for you in your business, so that you actually, now you're going, yeah, that would be cool. So wouldn't it be neat to be able to be notified of anything that's going on that has anything to do with any of your listings? Well, your MLS will do that, right? And all it requires you to do is this. Can everybody see this up here? So, first of all, let's just create a little search. So let's say this is a comp search for a listing I'm going to do. I don't know. Somebody give me an address. Give me a subject property address. A real one.
2009 Turnberry Court.
Okay. So here's the map right here. And so I always use map, by the way. Always, always, always use map. For those of you who are new, always use the map search when you're doing comp searches for a listing. Why?
Because you can draw it right around the neighborhood, the
Yes.
very relevant neighborhood.
Yes, relevant is the key word. You want relevant comps, you don't just want comps, right? You don't want to just do, okay, 90 days back within a mile radius, because within a mile radius could be all kinds of different neighborhoods that aren't relevant to that property.
But once you cross major roads in a lot of neighborhoods, it's
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. So give me the address again.
2009 Turnberry Court.
Zip?
95403.
What?
95403.
Street number you're missing.
I think I put it in.
You got 209, 2000.
No, I know one.
So,
Santa Rosa?
Yep.
Roy, if you're using the map, why do you also use the address?
Because here's what I want. So remember, it's a subject property, it's a search, I want a map of the area that home is in, right? So you put the address in, and then you click on recenter map, and then here we go. And so I have mine set up to default to a 1 mile radius. So at least here I see 1 mile radius. So now I don't really care about the radius though. So I'm gonna zoom in, I'm just gonna take a look. Now I'm kind of seeing a neighborhood. Now you guys know the neighborhoods better than I do. So if I do this right now in a way that you wouldn't do it with your knowledge of the neighborhood, don't get lost in that. Just learn this technique. So the technique is this. You change this search from a, oops, great, I forgot it was a Mac. You change this search from a radius search to a polygon, okay? I'm gonna clear the circle here.
It's up at the top.
Clear shapes.
Oh, clear shapes, there we go, okay. So use a polygon, and I'm gonna go, let's say, I'm just gonna go here, like this. And I'm gonna pull up everything that I can from, well, I should probably reduce the stuff. Let's go down here, let's go here, let's go here, like that, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I have my little neighborhood, right? And you click on the original pin, and it ends up, now I'll send the map on a little neighborhood that I made. So, and it probably looks to me like maybe I could go over here too. But I don't know, Fountain Grove Parkway is a bigger street. I know the area a little bit enough to know that I probably could go over here. I probably could go down here and include these as well. It would be good. So if I wanted to do that, I can grab that node and drag it down there.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. Yeah, I'd have to redraw it. Anyway, so I'm not going to. Right, well, they should fix it, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then you do all the other stuff that you would do for a search of property like that. You're gonna want all that, you're gonna want the pennies, you're gonna want the souls, and I like to only go about 90 days back to start with, right? So I click on today, and then I go back and I click on, because I don't like to do math. 90 days back, right? And then maybe I want some withdrawals and expireds too, because I like to bring to my client, hey, this person tried to market at this price and failed, right? But I'm not gonna put it in right now, because I just wanna see what we're gonna get. And then, how many bedrooms and baths is that house?
Three and four.
Technically 3 and 4.
3 bedroom, 4 bath? Okay, so I'm gonna do like 3 to 4 bedroom, total baths, yeah, probably 3 to 4. I don't wanna get too, remember, the tighter you get with the criteria, the less stuff you're gonna get, and you can weed it out later. And because the area we picked, we might not even get anything, I don't know, we'll see. And then do you remember how many square feet that thing is?
3,075.
Okay, so maybe I'm just gonna go 2,800 to, you said it's 3,075? So maybe I go to 32, let's say 3,300. Yeah, right? So I'm gonna get something that's kind of in the ballpark, right? What's the lot size on it?
It's just over a quarter acre.
And is most of the stuff in there, looks like there might be some big stuff in there. Okay, so it's it's kind of a small lot for that area?
But you probably wanna leave it out because it's not
I'm
gonna.
gonna leave it out.
Yeah.
All right, so then I hit, before I do anything else, I hit preview count. See this up here? Preview count? And it's gonna tell me if I got anything. Yeah, well, I got 3, which is not enough, okay? So I'm gonna go back, maybe take some, I start taking
Just
criteria
put 2
out.
back,
Okay,
Yeah, that'll do
put
it.
2 back.
Minimum.
yeah, okay, so let's put that back in there.
Sounds like you've done this.
See what happens. Start taking criteria out. You can widen the area, still only 3.
Square footage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
let's-
too tight of a parameter.
Yeah,
2,500.
but that's how you want to start, right? So,
Yes.
okay. So let's say, and this wasn't the thing that I was trying to
Nothing
teach
on
you.
the upper.
Let's get that out of there.
And keep the tops off.
So now we got 8, let's look at them. All right, let's say that we like these, okay? These ones that come up. And I don't, but let's say that we like these. And now what I want from this is because I'm gonna go take this listing, first of all, I'm gonna use these, right? I'm gonna use the ones that I think are relevant. I'm gonna pull them out, print them up, and all that kind of good stuff. And I might even go, in fact, I'm gonna go tour the actives before I go on the listing, for sure. And sometimes you can tour pendings, by the way, if you ask the listing agent and they let you. And that's worth it a lot. In fact, why do we like pendings?
Because they're gonna close soon.
And we know that at that price, well, look at the listing history, because sometimes on a pending, they'll move the price after it goes pending, but we know, what we can say is that at this price, this property generated an offer which was acceptable to the seller. That's why it's pending, right? And that's something to be able to talk about in the listing appointment as well. So anyway, let's assume you have what you like here, okay? And we're gonna leave them checked, don't leave them checked, whatever. So now what you're gonna wanna do, because you may have this listing for more than a couple of days before it sells, and so you may wanna revisit this. You're gonna go to options, click on options, and you're gonna save this as a new prospect. And what's the name of the street it's on again?
Turnberry.
You're gonna save it as Turnberry listing, or whatever, right? Click save. And then you're gonna go in here, click manage this prospect, is already checked. I have a group in mind that I had for listings, but I don't know if I have it in here anymore. But you can create a group in here called listings, right? I have one called comp search. I'll put it in comp search. All right, save that. I don't really care about putting a whole bunch of other stuff in here, but I want it to auto prospect and send me an email. And I don't really care much about whether allowing reverse prospecting or not allowing it, doesn't really matter. But now I'm gonna go ahead and save it. And I'm gonna view the results. And so now I'm viewing the results in a cart. You see that it's a prospect cart now? And so now I'm gonna take and I'm gonna save the ones that I'm actually gonna use as comps. And I'm gonna reject the ones that I'm not gonna use as comps. And once I've done that, all the ones that I've saved, anytime there's a change to those, what happens?
It sends you an email.
I get notified. What happens if another property that's gonna be competition for my listing comes on the market?
It comes up.
I get an email right away. And this is all saved, it's all ready to go. And so 2 months later, when I've had that listing for 2 months, we've gone through a couple of price reductions, and I needed to prepare for another one, I just open my prospect cart, decide which ones I'm gonna use for this CMA and produce a new CMA, like that. That's the MLS tip for the day. Okay? Does anybody have any questions?
That's really great.
Good, glad you guys liked it. Does anybody have any questions about it? Okay, thank you guys so much.